And in New York, Luigi Mangione has his first court appearance since his arraignment for allegedly murdering healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Scripps News correspondent Alex Miller joins us live with an update. Alex.
Well, today was as big of a deal inside the court as it was outside of the court. There were crowds here outside, and there were even crowds inside on the floor where the hearing was. I want to play for you a little sound of what happened when Luigi Mangione's lawyer, Karen Friedman at Agnifilo, walked into the hallway. There was a ton of cheering for her. Not everybody was able to get into the courtroom, but there was quite a few people on the floor there, mostly young women there. When we got into the courtroom, it was a very quick hearing, a little bit over 10 minutes. The judge setting some deadlines for both sides in April, and then in May. The next hearing is going to be June 26th. But the big part of what happened inside the courtroom is the fact that Luigi Mangione was wearing this bulletproof vest. He was shackled. His attorney asking for those to be removed, and the judge almost allowed it until a court officer ran up to the bench and asked that not to happen. This was part of an ongoing discussion for the rest of the hearing, essentially that Agnifilo believes that Mangione is not being treated fairly. He is being held right now in federal custody, despite the fact that there is no indictment in this federal case. It's something that the judge was confused about. The defense essentially saying that they consented to allowing him to be in federal custody because they have this death penalty possibility looming over their heads in this federal case. Remember, there are going to be 3 cases against Luigi Mangione. This is the state case where the hearing was today. Prosecutors say they have turned over, or will in the next 2 weeks, turn over a trove of evidence, including video surveillance, partial grand jury testimony, lab reports and notes, including trace analysis and ballistic testing, data extraction from cell phones, police reports, photographs, and body camera footage from Pennsylvania. But Agnifilo believes that there might be an issue with search and seizure that happened in Pennsylvania. It's something that she says that she's planning to litigate as well. So obviously a lot on her plate. They've actually brought in another attorney for this federal case because they believe that this death penalty is really on the table there. So there's going to be a hearing next month down the street in federal court dealing with those charges as well. So a lot happening for Agnifilo and her team.
He's constantly surrounded by law enforcement. He's in shackles. He was wearing a vest today. Some looked like I don't even know what it looked like, but a very serious vest with his legs shackled and his arms shackled. And so he's being treated differently because he's being held in federal custody than any other person who would be facing serious murder 1 charges in New York State court. And I made a record in court today that I don't understand what this show of danger is for. He is being treated differently because of this unusual and frankly just the fact that he's being prosecuted by 3 jurisdictions for 1 event. It all is about one thing. What I did not understand was how shocking it was that this week on HBO, in a documentary, I see the chief of detectives and the New York City mayor, full hair and makeup done, sitting down and giving an interview for television and talking about the evidence in Luigi's case, talking about police paperwork that we don't have, talking about forensics that we have not yet received. I guess we have now today, but I didn't when I was sitting there learning about the case, hearing an actor play Luigi reading from a journal that they say is Luigi's, and we have yet to receive it from the prosecution.
Murder suspect Luigi Mangione appeared in court on Friday afternoon for his first hearing since being charged in the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The hearing was held at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, marked the early stages of legal proceedings involving Mangione. Judge Georgie Carl did not set a trial date for Mangione 26 during the hearing, but his lawyer Karen Friedman and Felicio pushed for him to be moved out of the Metro Detention Center in Brooklyn since he's being held on a complaint in federal court, but on an indictment from Manhattan prosecutors. Prior to the hearing, Newsweek reached out to Mangione's lawyer for comment process as he faces charges of first-degree murder, possession of an unlicensed firearm, forgery, providing false identification. The 26-year-old has pled not guilty to state murder and terror charges. That's one thing I don't get. Terror charges? Why is he getting terrorism charges? I don't get it. Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania on December 9th, 2024, 5 days after Thompson was killed near the New York Hilton in Manhattan. Prosecutors have also filed federal charges against Mangione, which could result in the death penalty. Why? It is unclear if Mangione's family members attended the hearing at the time of publishing. However, multiple women gathered outside of Friday's hearing to show their support for Mangione. Luigi's father. So Mangione is set to appear in court again on March 19th, 2025. Mangione arrived with his hands and ankles shackled, wearing a bulletproof vest over a green sweater, matching many of his supporters in and outside the courtroom, who also wore green. The judge denied a request from Mangione's attorneys to remove his shackles. The 26-year-old has pled not guilty on state charges but has yet to enter a plea on federal murder charges related to the killing of Brian Thompson that he killed in Midtown Manhattan on December 4th.
Babe, wake up. A whole new Luigi photo shoot just dropped. You gotta wake up the kids. Come on, this is huge news. Oh my god. If I had to spend one night in prison, I'd be looking like hell. What is his secret? He must have found out the stock market crashed or something, because he's rejuvenated. How is he doing it? How is he doing? Everything this man wears is high fashion. They could put him in the electric chair and it would look like a throne. I was looking up how to write to this man. Here's his address, so screenshot this. But there's a few things you need to know before you write to him. So on a white piece of paper with blue or black ink, you can write a letter and include a photo of yourself, but it has to be appropriate. Nothing too exposed. Prohibited items. They said you can't send packages, perfume, makeup, or body fluids. Sorry, you gotta leave your placentas at home, ladies. Luigi said he's been writing some people back so you can include your return address, but don't include stamps because he has to buy those himself from commissary. But remember, they read everything before he gets it, so don't talk about the case, the prison, anything illegal, how much he'd love your placenta. So what can you talk about? Yourself, your day, your interests, the news, books, shows, movies. But most important, be funny, okay? We don't want any sad shit come into Luigi's desk, okay? We're gonna keep it light. You gotta keep it clean, but keep it light. Someone's gotta tell him about the season of Severance, please.
Not the bulletproof vest. For what? For who? For who, babe? I feel like they almost put the vest on him to make him look ugly, because they were like, he looks too good in his Luigi green, and he was wearing like loafers, his poor ankles. They were raw from those shackles. Shackles. What? But then they put the vest on him, and it's like everything they do becomes more confusing.
The man that ended the United Healthcare CEO, Luigi Mangione, had hundreds of women screaming his name when he got into court today. This was Luigi's first time appearing in court since he was arrested a few months ago, and he showed up in a bulletproof vest. This was him in his green sweater compared to the red sweater that he had on the first time he was in court, and of course, people thought that he looked really good. A lot of people were upset that he had shackles around his ankles while he was sitting at the desk. Even his lawyer made a statement saying that she was complaining that he was being shackled and that he was still being held in federal prison and not receiving evidence that the prosecution already had. This was a billboard that was put up the night before he was expected to be in court today, where it literally has him looking very holy and saying "Free Luigi." And this was the amount of women lined up outside the courtroom that could not get in just to be able to see Luigi in person.
People are fucking pissed after the new Luigi Mangione photo shoot just dropped, because not only did they have Luigi Mangione wearing a bulletproof vest, and after seeing what we saw, people are mad after what Luigi did in prison. It has people torn. So many people are angry at Luigi and says that he needs to be put away for life, if not more, if he truly does get accused of what he is under trial for, and that Luigi should never be free again. But after Luigi got over $300,000 to help pay his legal fees, because Luigi has so many fans, this is where it gets even more crazier, because people are thirsting over Luigi, because I will give it to him, he has truly done the impossible. Somehow in prison he even got more tan, and Luigi is now even more better looking. Regardless of what he did or didn't do, he even doesn't have any eye bag, and somehow this picture even has so much aura, and Luigi is even finding time to write people back from his prison cell. And here's the address if you are trying to write to him. But a lot of people are also saying that it is disgusting to be praising Luigi, and some people are even saying that Diddy is taking good care of Luigi. This is all alleged. Do you think that Luigi should be free?
What's happening to Luigi Mangione in relation to his trial is super unfair. Firstly, when brought before the court, he was required to be handcuffed as a security measure. His lawyer quite succinctly saying, these images of him handcuffed, shackled, they're going against his presumption of innocence. Add that to the ridiculous perp walk that he had with Eric Adams, the mayor under indictment, walking beside him. It just doesn't seem fair. Secondly, there is a federal case and a state case running in parallel, and the defense are going, how are we meant to deal with this? We're fighting on two fronts with two separate case theories. But the worst thing, and this was so succinctly said by his lawyer, is that there is now documentaries with people who were involved in the investigation, getting up in full hair and makeup, saying things like, we've got this evidence, we've got that evidence, we've done this, we've done that, and that evidence hasn't even been turned over to the defense. The first time they're hearing about it is in a documentary. It's absurd. How on earth is this guy going to get a fair trial if there's so much nonsense tainting the jury pool? Now, you may think he did it, you may think he didn't do it, but if you don't allow him a fair trial, how will we ever know? How can this man with the most recognizable face, pretty much like when it comes to crime, how is he going to get a fair trial? All it takes is one Looney Tune on the jury who says, oh, you know, I don't know anything about it, and weasels their way in, and you're going to have an enormous miscarriage of justice. And this case carries the taking of life penalty for him. So this is just horrible. It seems super unfair. Now, watch this space. Obviously, they're going to take what steps they can to remedy this, etc., etc. But Mr. Mangione has another hearing in June. We don't have a trial date. Follow me for more legal TikTok.
I know I've very much been on my Dylan Efron kick, but make no mistake, I have never forgotten about my OG baby girl. Are you kidding? I've been stalking LuigiMangioneInfo.com like a hawk. When I saw him walk into this courtroom today, I was worried. His hair looked a little disheveled. And then but then I squinted at the eyebrows and I was like, oh, no. He's just playing that damsel in distress look. Like, as he should. The bulletproof vest. Duh. All of the New York government officials are after him, including Mayor Eric Adams, that unserious broad. Did you guys see that photo of Mayor Eric Adams, by the way, last week when he, had the heart and he was like, Happy Valentine's Day? Like, shut up. Ugh, I would never want that dude to be around me. It's like being around Ebola. I don't want it. Luigiators. That's what we're calling ourselves now. I am the leader of the group. We are the Luigiators now. You guys are holding down the fort in that courtroom. Killing it. I wish I could be there with you. I'm a little busy this weekend, but you guys are really making sure he feels the love. I can do nothing but stan. Oh, and if you are on that website that I just mentioned, there are a couple court fits coming up that we should be aware of. Monday, 2/24, he will be back there again. And March 19th, trial's obviously in June. And let's just hang in there, broads. I know it's been rough for us. It's been rough, but the worst is almost over. Just remember, we're Rihanna, Luigiators, ASAP Rocky. We gotta stand by our man.
Luigi had court today, and once again, I don't know who he's looking at. Anyway, he came in handcuffed, shackles on his feet. They requested to get the shackles on his feet removed. They said, no way. Boy's a professional. And it looked like they had a little parade outside. They were just waiting to see him. And a truck was seen driving around the courthouse with a picture of Luigi on the back with a QR code. But it's for like one of those Selena coins. Don't do it, guys. This was the line to get in the courthouse. They said it was mostly females, upwards of like 100. This is them inside. She has a free Luigi scarf, and that's pretty tough. Some of them did make it into the courtroom. I'm not sure all of them would make it, but I'm sure whoever did was happy that they did. I see it now in the courtroom. His attorney said she doesn't have adequate access to her client when he's being held in that federal prison. And she said his rights to a fair trial is constantly being impacted because the mayor of New York himself, Eric Adams, has discussed evidence from the case, and some of the evidence that they confiscated, she still didn't get a hold of some of that evidence yet, like his manifesto and other stuff like that. So she requested a delay in some of the stuff, especially dealing with the death penalty, and that was declined as well. The dates are supposed to be still set in the springtime, but the set dates haven't been set yet. So they will figure out more come springtime. But it seems like we didn't make much progress today, but you did get to see your boy.
Luigi knows that we love him, and this sweater is intentional. Green, first of all, this beautiful like hunter green with his dark eyes and his beautiful eyebrows. He is just such a classically handsome man, but wearing green, excellent choice. He's our Luigi. I feel like a schoolgirl again, like kicking my feet back here. You can't see.
A Luigi Mangione court appearance truly just means a new set of photos the internet will thirst over after, because there's nothing really new that we found out today except his lawyers were doing a good job. One saying the fact that he had to stay shackled the whole time is kind of ridiculous because when they go visit him in his actual prison, he is unshackled, so this is all for like theatrics, along with the bulletproof vest. And with that, they said that they believe his constitutional rights were taken away in Pennsylvania the day of his arrest. There is still no trial date officially set, but that is going to come soon. But there were ads running outside the courthouse today in support of him. This one was on a truck talking about healthcare denials from certain patients, saying healthcare is a human right. There was another truck outside with the Free Luigi logo on it, just driving around the block, and a full painting on the side of a building. We will see what continues to unfold, but I think his next court appearance, technically, if nothing else happens, is scheduled for June 23rd, I want to say, but I believe something will probably happen before then. What are your thoughts on all of this?
This is everything you need to know about Luigi's court hearing today. He was wearing a bulletproof vest, which you can see behind me, and the judge said that he is not allowed to be uncuffed for safety reasons. Now, you're probably aware of the HBO special that came out about Luigi, and his attorney Karen does bring it up. During the hearing, she criticized New York City Mayor Eric Adams, as well as the NYPD Chief of Detectives, Joseph Kenney, for appearing on HBO to discuss their case's theories. Karen tells the judge that Luigi's right to a fair trial is continuously being impacted. She said, "My shock that the Chief of Detectives of the NYPD, along with the NYC Mayor, had time to sit down with HBO and put hair and makeup and talk about their theories of the case." She then tried to say that the actors playing Luigi did not give a fair portrayal, but then she was cut off by the judge. She also brought up the fact that she still hasn't gotten the bulk of the discovery, including police records. The court had heard that Luigi's phone and phone records were collected in the first batch of evidence, and prosecutors have only just turned over today the DNA and forensic testing, police body cam footage, the autopsy report, and grand jury testimony for non-civilian witnesses. Search warrants and civilian witness statements will be turned over within 2 weeks, which is well over the 45-day limit. Aaron objected to the judge setting a motion schedule as prosecutors are deciding whether they will seek the death penalty, and she says that is where our focus is. That's why the discovery is so critical to what we can put in our motions. She also argued that Luigi's rights were violated during his Pennsylvania arrest, saying, I think there's a very serious search issue in this matter. We think our client's constitutional rights were violated in Pennsylvania. We have never been provided copies of the journal, which is being called the manifesto. Once court was over, she addressed the media outside, saying that Luigi is being treated differently than any other person accused of murder. I made a record in court today. I didn't understand what this show of danger is for. Here she's referring to the fact that the judge wanted him to still be in cuffs for safety reasons. When I go visit Luigi at MDC in Brooklyn, I sit with him. He is unshackled without law enforcement hovering over us. For whatever reason here, despite all the law enforcement, they need him to be wearing this vest. He is shackled. They stand right over us and we get no time with him. He is being treated differently. The fact that he's being prosecuted in 3 different jurisdictions for one event, one single event, we object to that. Luigi's right to a fair trial is being infringed upon because he is being publicly treated as guilty, having the presumption of guilt rather than the presumption of innocence, which is what he is entitled to. She also brings up the HBO special again, saying, while of course I understand the NYPD's need for a press conference before an arrest or after an arrest, what I did not understand was how shocking it was that this week on HBO in a documentary, I see the chief of detectives and the NYC mayor, full hair and makeup, done, sitting down and giving an interview for television talking about the evidence in Luigi's case. Talking about police paperwork we don't have. Talking about forensics that we have not received. I guess we have now today, but I didn't when I was sitting there learning about the case, hearing an actor playing Luigi reading from a journal they say is Luigi's when we have yet to receive from prosecution. Also warned that much of the evidence could be suppressed if it was found to have been seized in an illegal search and seizure. But if the mayor and chief of police had already shared it publicly, then how is he going to have a fair trial? I know a lot of people wanted to know if his trial would be televised, and she actually wasn't going to speak to the media, but because cameras were not allowed in court today, she says hopefully we'll allow cameras in the court going forward. If not, I will continue to provide information. Lastly, she added that she will provide a transcript of today's hearing on their website.
Call this a conspiracy. I don't care. I think the feds are sabotaging Luigi in so many ways. I've been watching the coverage, and here's why I'm saying that. First of all, they're not letting cameras into the courtroom. Why? Second of all, he's shackled and wearing vests. Why? He's innocent until proven guilty. Third of all, the New York City detective and mayor went on to HBO to discuss the evidence that they have on Luigi, and his own lawyer didn't get this evidence. So she said, this is ridiculous because they're showing this evidence, and if they recall this evidence, then they're tainting or messing up the fair trial that he could possibly have. He has a court hearing in Altoona, PA, which he is not allowed to show up for because New York will not transfer him out. The other thing she said was that they collected and handled the evidence incorrectly in Altoona, and there's a question about what he actually did have on him and if that's admissible in court. Apparently the chants were so loud that Luigi could hear it from the courtroom. They're treating him like he's guilty. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really think they're setting this up. I think it's already decided what's going to happen. I think they're going to give him the death penalty, which apparently they talked about today. And I think it's already done. I know this is a conspiracy. It feels like sabotage. What do you think?
This is the real reason why you're not seeing Luigi Mangione on your For You page anymore. Watch to the end. The first federal court hearing for Luigi Mangione is set for February 17th. They actually delayed this first hearing. It was supposed to be in January, but they agreed to delay it. That way both sides could prepare for the trial. Then the next is going to be the state court hearing, which will be on February 21st. And Luigi Mangione is actually facing state charges, including as an act of terrorism, to which he actually pleaded not guilty to. And the main reason why you're not seeing a lot of Luigi Mangione content on your For You page anymore is because they're trying to suppress as much content from reaching out to all the Americans. That way he could actually be set free because of jury nullification. So they're actually afraid of the people being educated enough to actually allow him to be nullified. Now, here are some things we can expect from these court hearings. The state and federal court hearings are all pre-trial proceedings. They'll talk about the admissibility of evidence, witness lists, and the defense team might actually file a motion to challenge the admissibility and applicability of certain evidence. Maybe the prosecutors might offer a plea deal. Make sure to like, comment, save, and repost and share this video with everyone you know. That way we keep Luigi Mangione in the algorithm, because they are trying to suppress Luigi Mangione's name. That way Americans don't get educated to offer jury nullification once they're on the jury. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Peace!
Luigi Mangione stuns a new photo from his hearing today. I believe I have ID'd the sweater, and I'm really excited to share it with you. And true Mangione heads will remember that this is not the first time he's worn a bold colored sweater in court. And when these pictures first came out, a lot of people were saying that it was a Margiela sweater, which was not the case. It was confirmed to be from Nordstrom. So let's focus on the facts here. But before I show it to you, make sure you get a load of this pic, because it's going to be in history books one day. These are his shackled feet underneath the table. And as far as the sweater goes, I did some forensic analysis, and I believe it to be the cable knit cashmere sweater from Ralph Lauren. And it retails for $498, which does not really mean anything, because typically when someone is appearing in court who is staying at a jail, they're not providing their own clothing. But if you take a close look at it, the ribbing around the collar and like the bottom of it is the same, and so is the cabling. And here is a side-by-side in case you want to compare. Also, don't you feel like he could have been on like that first season of Top Model where they did guys and girls? I feel like Tyra would have loved him.